come on into the camera.
Oh, what do I do?
Get on the camera. Bring yourself over this way.
Look.
Hi. Oh, I'm live. Hi, everyone. This is Noreen Sumter from Beyond Potential. Live life your way. It is Tuesday. It's a rainy day in New York City. Like I was thinking rainy day in Georgia. But no, we're not in Georgia, thank God. We are in New York City. It's a rainy, rainy day. And as I walked up 72nd Street, couldn't really get across the street because the drains were so filled. And there was it was filled with debris. So there was a huge puddle that took up a quarter, from the corner to the other side of the block. So it was really difficult walking through. So I had to walk up a little bit and then cross over the street and be worried about getting hit by a car. I was hit by a car once before. So every time I have to go across a busy street where I'm not really sure, I tend to get a little bit of a flashback. Not a flashback of me being hit, but just being mindful that I don't get hit by a car. So today we have Diane Pollack, right? And I better say it right. And Diane is with Style Empower. Correct. Diane is a fashionista. I don't know why I've got a fashionista on the show. That is something that I am not, right? Even though I have been called a fashionista, I would never, ever peg myself as one because shopping is not one of my favorite things to do. I don't plan my closet. I buy what I like, and I get up in the morning and I just choose from my closet what I feel like wearing. And I have this vision that a fashionista has the latest gear, right? Sits up and plans her closet before she plans her closet for the week probably. That's what my mother used to tell me to do, but that was never going to happen. Or a uniform. It's pretty much the same thing every day, right? And so she plans her closet so that she feels fabulous. So Diana, am I right?
You are partially right. That is actually, I really enjoy planning out what I think about what I'm doing that week, what events I'm going to, what the weather forecast is. And actually, when I'm daydreaming or bored, I think about what I'm going to wear for the week because I enjoy it.
Right. So you've just heard from Diane. And so now I'm going to ask Diane to introduce herself. So tell us a little bit about you and your company.
Well, as you mentioned correctly, it is Style Empower, and it is about empowering women to feel confident in their dress. So, when you dress for a special occasion, a black tie event or something, and you pick out the perfect shoes to wear with your dress and the perfect accessories, jewelry and bag, and you do your hair and your makeup, and you look in the mirror and you feel super, super confident and beautiful, sexy, whatever that is. Well, you should be able to feel that way on a regular basis.
Right. And
people don't. And so it is about you getting up every day and carrying yourself with that confidence and that empowerment, whether it's a job interview, a date, or just everyday life, you should be able to feel that way.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question a little bit about your past and what gave you the authority, because you had the power, right, to come into this business. What had you come into this business? Or is it something that you were born with or you grew up with?
There is a certain amount of born with, I would say. My grandmother was actually a clothing designer back in the day. And growing up, I was very creative. I always made jewelry, and I always played around with my clothes. I always made them better. I cut them, I sewed them, I dyed them, I added trim to them. Never a big fan of making things from scratch like sewing, but always making them better or changing them or updating them. And then it did lead to a career as a clothing designer, probably very different than my grandmother's. But so I did that for over 20 years. And the industry, as everybody sees with all the store closings and that sort of thing, is really, really difficult. So then one day I decided, what am I going to do? I'm sick of these layoffs and everything that's going on in the industry. It's dwindling,
Right.
and I have no control over it. So I basically took control and said, what can I do with my skills and my interest? And now I help women to feel confident and empowered in their clothing.
So did you go to college for fashion?
So I actually did not initially. I went to liberal arts school. And then I took classes, first random classes here and there at FIT. And then I got a certificate in fashion design at Parsons to really get down the basics. And then started as an assistant trim coordinator.
What is that?
So I worked for what was one of the biggest companies at the time. It's now a little fleck in the sand. But basically, I did all the research and development for buttons, beadings, embroidery, belts, and that sort of things, items that go onto garments. And that was...
So I'm not going to name, but like MJ trimmings on 38?
Well, those are the type of items we would purchase and develop and dye. And those are things when I was a kid, I used to sew onto my clothing.
Right.
But now it was all part of the garments that was being designed.
Right.
So, and all the research and development that went into that. So it was a small component of design. And then from there, I got senior designer,
right.
etc.
I love trim shops. I went to a gala 2 weeks ago, the National Urban League Gala, and it was Roaring Twenties. And the friend that I was going with, she said, let's go to Party City and get Roaring Twenties hats. I was like, hell no, I am not going to Party City, because it was a really nice gala and the tickets weren't cheap. So I went to one of these trim shops down on 34th Street and bought all the trimmings to make a Roaring Twenties hat with we had big feathers, and I put those together in 20 minutes.
That's really funny that you said that, because I just had a client who told me I was in her closet. We got together an outfit for her holiday party.
Right.
And then she emailed me last week and said, I found out it's a costume party. The theme is 20s.
Right.
And there's a prize for it.
Right.
And I suggested to her that she make the little hat with the feather and go to one of the trimming stores.
Absolutely. It took like 20 minutes. I made two, one for my friend. She had one feather. I had three feathers.
Oh.
And it literally took me 20 minutes because I was running hers up while I was in the taxi. And then, when I got there, I measured ahead and put it on. But it was really great. So I love those trim shops. You can get lost for hours in there.
Yeah. If it's your thing, sometimes I tell clients that they could even switch up a button or something, and I have to ask them, is this something you're going to do?
Right.
Because not everybody is going to go to the trim store or even know what looks good on that item. So.
Right. So for a person who wants to hire you to like help them with their closet, I mean, like, is it like you do, it's really expensive, or is it you do certain, how do you do it?
Okay. So I work with everyday women. I am not stylist to the stars.
Right.
Lots of my clients actually like to shop themselves, but then they have this closet overwhelmed with clothes. They have limited space in New York, and they don't really know how to put things together. They don't know what's dated. They don't know how to accessorize.
Right.
So I come to their home. First, I help them get rid of what's just not working.
And how do you do that? Do you have them try on every last piece in their closet?
It depends on the individual. Some things I can look at and, you know that there's a sleeve shape or a something, and you just say, okay, no, that's got to go away.
Right.
Sometimes it needs to be tried on.
Right.
Sometimes they'll talk about it, and you can just hear when they say something like negative coming out of their mouth. Then I'm like, no, you don't need to give me a story about it. That goes away. I didn't even say anything.
Right.
So it depends. And then we actually create outfits with what they have. And they're fascinated. They say, oh, I've never thought of this before.
So
and
you put things together.
Exactly. And teach them how to accessorize.
Right.
So not only is it for that particular item, but if there's a certain neckline, why I recommend a certain necklace, a long, a short for that particular neckline,
right.
Proportions, colors, things that they can actually take away with them. So they have these particular outfits, but in future shopping, they can remember that Diane said with this neckline, this type of necklace worked well.
Right.
And then we create a list of missing pieces. And so, listen, you have to have some kind of disposable income.
Right.
It's not, it's an affordable luxury.
Right.
But, if this is something that's going to help you feel confident and empowered, it's, my clients are thrilled.
Right.
Some of them feel like they want to declutter and clean out other areas of their house after. And I just lost my train of thought.
Well, let me help you here because I had used a stylist many years ago, and I'm like a big vintage shopper, and at the time I used to buy these like vintage party dresses, and so I have a stylist, my friend who was a stylist, this is what she did for a business, came by and went through my closet, and we tried on practically everything in the closet that she thought was worth trying on, and then she told me, you cannot ever wear these dresses again. They are ridiculous, but they made me feel happy. That's why I wore them. She says, you never wear these dresses again. And so I was like, okay. And so she literally trimmed my closet down to 3 items.
Wow.
Right? I got so nervous. I got really scared because I was like, what am I going to do? She said, it's only for a week. You'll work it out. And so then she took me shopping. So now when she took me shopping, she had a lot of, I'm sure you're up on the gift certificates or the discounts, certificate coupons and all this kind of stuff, because she was a master at that. She doesn't do it anymore, but she was a master of that. Is that something that you do for people?
Yes. Because it's not a commission business. I get a great thrill out of getting a bargain for myself and for clients. And I personally, because I love to shop and be in stores, and somehow I have been able to finagle discounts. My best deal ever, I've gotten some really good things for like $7, $12. My best deal ever is a pair of fabulous pumps with fringes for a penny.
Oh, where was that?
It was DSW.
A penny?
They were already discounted. I had then they were on the clearance rack. Then I had a coupon, and I feel like maybe one other thing, but I just like worked the system.
Oh my gosh, you got shoes for a penny. That must be going down in history.
Black suede pumps with fringe.
So we're going to take a break right now. And then when we come back, Diane will tell us more about how to get shoes for a penny. Okay.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you stuck in a rut? Negative thoughts, feelings, and conversations got you down? Hi, I'm Noreen Sumter, the Potentiator. Tune in every Tuesday, 9 to 10 Eastern Time, and listen for new ideas on my show, Beyond Potential. Live life your way on talkradio.nyc.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Jill.
Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo!
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
So we're back. This is Noreen Sumter from Beyond Potential, Live Life Your Way. And I am with Diane Pollack, who is with Style Empower. Like sometimes I get so engrossed in the conversation that I completely forget where I am. So Diane, you're back, and before we went to the break, you told me that you got shoes for a penny.
I did.
That is kind of ridiculous. A penny. I know they loved you. So tell me, what are the most, when I was a customer for a personal shopper, or a stylist, she took me to Bloomingdale's. I want to know, what is the most popular store, because it has a lot of things that you would take your clients to?
Okay, so actually the bulk of my business is the closets, which I call closet rejuvenation. And as I mentioned before, most of my clients like to shop on their own.
Oh, okay.
So I do some personal shopping. I also do some I do some, you also asked about, how expensive, et cetera. I do some virtual programs, and including one, which is virtual shopping, where I will send them links of the missing, if there's a category, we're looking for brightly colored cardigans, for instance. I'll send them a bunch of links to suggested cardigans within their price point, that sort of thing. So there's no particular store. It really depends on the customer's taste and budget. Department stores are great, because if you're with them and you have to do everything all in a certain time period, then you want to go to a store that has everything and is accessible to everything. Right. If you're doing it on your own, then you can sort of break it down a little bit and go to different locations. Right.
There was a question that just popped right out of my head that I wanted to ask you. Oh, virtual. Explain to me your virtual closet or your virtual support. Tell us about that.
Sure. So one of the things I was just mentioning was the personal shopping. So I actually have this program. It's a monthly retainer. So basically, the customer can continue monthly and has me on retainer for a month. So the first thing, as my example was, I send, let's say, these colorful cardigans. And I send like a bunch, about 6 links. Then the customer sees them. They choose what they want to purchase. When they receive them, they try them on, and then they'll send me pictures maybe, and we'll talk about, this goes with this, and try this underneath. Perhaps it's pants. Does this fit well? So we have this virtual back and forth where they'll send selfies, or, if I know what's in their closet, I'll recommend it with certain items. And once we're done with that category, they have colorful cardigans. Now we're on to raincoats, or whatever the next thing is. So we continue throughout the month until they have gotten all the items, and then it can continue into the next month, and it takes however long it takes. Right.
Do you ever use like Skypes or Zooms or?
Oh, I absolutely do. So I can also do, if somebody is not local, I'm in New York City. I do travel a little bit to the suburbs, but if you are further away, I can do a virtual closet rejuvenation, or a closet edit, if you just wanted to toss items and hold things up and say, or try them on for me. I absolutely do some Skype sessions.
Cool. So tell me, I want to go back to your early days in fashion. What was your fashion look like? Like when you were growing up, were you into every fashion, or did you have a select?
So it's interesting. It actually started, and I didn't realize when it truly started until I was in this business, and somebody was asking me, I was speaking in lectures, and they're like, what was your earliest moments? And I knew that I always made jewelry and that sort of thing. But what I remember is when I was, I think, 12 years old, the designer jeans with the big labels on the butt were super popular. Sassoon, Calvin Klein, all those, Brooke Shields with her. So I got my first pair of Sassoon jeans, and I put them together with this outfit, and I love the outfit. I went to the sculpture garden, and this is before selfies, I spent the day modeling. My parents were taking pictures of me in the sculptures, and I felt cool. I felt like a model, and I just remember that day thinking, wow, I love the way I look in this outfit. I'm going to really pay attention to what I'm wearing so that I can feel I didn't know that it was actually, the empowerment.
Right.
So that's really when it started. And since then, I've really made a conscious effort to put together outfits and feel really great on a regular basis. Now, listen, we all have our off days, but for the most part, every day I walk out the door feeling great and excited about what I'm wearing.
Well, you always look good when I see you. You always got a cute coat or something really cute on. What about when you're just like lounging around in the neighborhood? I like to wear like leggings or yoga pants and a t-shirt.
Right.
What do you wear?
So I probably would if I looked cute in them, but I hate the way that I look in clingy pants and leggings. They just don't look in me. And I wear heels, and not because I'm 5'1". I love being short, love being petite. Hello. But it just helps me feel sexy, confident, and it like elongates me and that sort of thing. So I struggle actually with casual clothes because I'm always looking for boots that are casual but with a heel.
Right.
And I just don't look good in yoga pants and sneakers. So I can't throw that on.
Right.
So I do wear lots of jeans. I wear a ton of jeans, but they're usually sort of, accessorized.
Back from your day with your Sassoon jeans.
Yeah.
So what would you like when you walk down the street? Is it like, because I remember when I was a realtor, I had an occupational hazard of when I went into homes, I would always want to feel like I could feel if the foundation felt good, or I'd want to look at the size of the house, or I'd like, price in my head, that kind of thing. When you go to an event or you walk down the street and you see people, are you redressing them?
It depends. I mean, first of all, I also recognize when people look great.
Right.
And even when people meet me, sometimes they're a little concerned, whatever. But you know what? They're not claiming to be a fashion person.
Right.
So unless they are real, if there's really something blaringly terrible about their outfit, or if they express interest in utilizing me.
I'm just talking about in general. Like you're walking, you don't do it. You don't do it in your head. Like,
Not for the most part, unless something is really shocking. I mean, listen, we're in New York City. You're passing 1 million people every day.
Right.
So, I notice what people are wearing, but,
What's your favorite fashion item? What's your favorite item apart from the heels?
Accessories.
Accessories. Okay.
I really feel like accessories make an outfit. And I like to say that it takes an effort from fine to fabulous.
Okay.
You can have, sort of like a basic dress or whatever, but you put on some fabulous necklace and it's a statement and it pulls the whole dress or the whole outfit together. So I love accessorizing.
What is your favorite era for fashion? Like mine is the 40s and the 50s.
Well, it's funny because I look back on it now and I'm hesitant to say this, but I was such an 80s girl. I had the big hair already, and my earrings, and again, 5'1", my earrings could not be bigger.
Oh my God.
So I look back now.
What about the shoulder pads?
I had those too. And I look back now and some of the things weren't so flattering because they were so voluminous that they really like carried you. And I feel like I look a little slimmer now because even if you're wearing something big, you're going to wear something narrow on the bottom. That's a proportional thing. But in the 80s, it was just all volume. But I had fun. I had fun in the 80s. But, you sort of go with the ages. I'm not a vintage girl.
I love vintage.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. So with all these, all these sustainable or these fast fashion conversations that are flying around the planet, what's your take on it and how is it impacting fashion for you?
That's interesting. Because I guess I'm a little bit torn because I do love a good trend and you don't want to invest a lot of money in a trend because it's going to go away. And I love having new things and having trends. So, the fast fashion is that sort of disposable fashion. Right. Some of them, even H&M, has their whole eco-conscious. So it is becoming, people put down a lot of the fast fashion, and I love Zara. But a lot of the brands are becoming more eco-conscious, so that's a good thing, because then you don't have to feel bad about.
Is it happening fast enough, or is it slow? What's your take on it?
I mean, everything is never fast enough, right? I mean, we have the whole environment situation and everything, so it's never going to be fast enough, because we really should have started way back when.
Right. But they say that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but really is now, right? Because it will be 20 years later from now.
Right. I do recycle. There are plenty of places, such as H&M, Uniqlo, where you can drop off items of clothing like that a thrift shop doesn't want, because they're stained, they're damaged, they're torn.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, and H&M does recycle them. They pulverize them and create new recyclable fabrics. So I feel good about that.
Right. So what is the one fashion that is current now that you think needs to be gone? I can tell you mine.
Okay. Well, thank God Uggs are pretty much gone, because that was definitely something.
They look like they're back with the kids.
I'm drawing a blank. But the Uggs were definitely on my radar from before. I was never a fan of overalls, but that's way gone. Right. I'm not even thinking of anything current, although I'm sure there are a million things. So
I'll tell
me.
you the thing that I like. So these jeans that the ripped jeans, with the slashes across. Now, some of them are okay, but when people do their do-it-yourself ripped jeans, where it's literally falling off their bodies, I can't stand that.
Right.
I saw some yesterday on Fifth Avenue by the library, and I was like, "Are you wearing those jeans because that's what you had, or are you homeless?" Right? They were ripped so badly. They were ripped so badly that I was like, and her bare legs were out. So, sometimes people accessorize them with some nice tights underneath or some, but just the bare legs with ripped up jeans with big chunks of the jeans missing. Wasn't even like,
Right.
It's terrible. I hate those, and I think they should be gone.
Right. I just have a whole concept, but it's the evolution of fashion. I mean, there's definitely like old school fashion rules that people break, but sometimes now I see combinations of mixed things that are just there was a reason for that rule, because the colors and the proportions just didn't work together. Like when you're wearing a white summery dress and black heavy tights, they just don't work together.
The textures and temperatures don't look like they'll go together.
Yeah, you see combinations.
So let's hold that thought, and when we come back, we can talk more about that, because I am also a victim of too many colors and too many patterns at one time, but I love it. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
If you have an interest in marijuana, you want to know about marijuana, law, policy, and culture, then feel free to join me, Joseph A. Bondi, every Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning on my show In the Know 420 on TalkingAlternative.com.
Continue to resist of this.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
So when we went away, this is Noreen Sumter from Beyond Potential, Live Life Your Way. And the question just popped. What was the question I asked at the break?
What trend needs to go away?
Yeah, what trend needs to go away? So I said the ripped up jeans.
Right.
And you had a thought.
Right. So it's a little bit hard to explain without being visual, but people are breaking a lot of the fashion rules, and that's fine. You don't want to wear white jeans after Labor Day. That's, you can wear white jeans after Labor Day. That's fine. Certain rules. But things are getting mixed and matched, fabrics and proportions and things. And occasionally a super young and beautiful fashionista who has the perfect hair and the perfect this can get away with it. But then if you looked at that combination on the average woman, it would be horrific. I mean, it is usually horrific. I even see ads in magazines. I took a picture on the cover of In Style magazine with a fashion don't. To me, it broke one of my rules.
What was it?
Well, this is just actually an accessorizing one. She's got a very long necklace and she's got a belt. And I feel that draws your eye in two different directions. You've got down and across. So I don't recommend that at all. But usually it's the combinations and the layering and the summer fabrics with the heavy winter that it just looks too bulky. And I see a lot of like young hipster, if you may, types wearing these things. And some of them can still look cute because they look cute in everything they put on. But it's really like a poor combination. And you see it in the windows of these stores for young people or H&M sometimes. Right.
So I a couple weeks ago had on a red and black checkered trench coat with multicolor floral stockings with a red and black animal print dress and a silk beige and with red tones and black silk scarf thrown around. And I was dressing because this is what I wanted to put on that morning. And I know the dress, it's comfortable. I know the coat, it's comfortable. I know the scarf, I like it. You know, the stockings were good. It was cold. And I looked in the mirror and people were saying to me, wow, you look really cool. And I was like, well, you know, kind of like, what am I wearing that is garnering me so much, you know, compliments, so many compliments. And when I got somewhere where there was a mirror, I was like, whoa, I look like a starburst because I had so many colors on. But for some unknown reason, it kind of worked for me, right? And I wasn't dressing to attract attention or style or any of that kind of stuff. I was dressing because that's what I wanted to wear that morning. It reminds me of my friend's little 5-year-old when I used to watch her and I'd say, what do you want to wear? And she'd be like, I'm going to wear this one, this yellow and the red and with my orange boots. I was like, wow, I looked like her.
Well, I have to say, I know you and you're a bit of a character. And because you are a character, you can pull that off. It actually sounds like a quite interesting combination, right? Because that's kind of who you are. And in the same way, I work with a lot of petite women, and I personally break all the petite rules because that is who
what
I
are the petite
am.
Rules?
Well, large prints, large jewelry, I mean, my hair, you know, my hair couldn't be longer as far as I'm concerned, you know, like let it grow. And some petite women will drown in these things. They'll just look like everything is just too big on them.
Right.
But I break all these rules and I can do it because that's who I am. Right. I carry it off. But I don't recommend it to my average client who isn't, you know, necessarily a fashionable person and can't really carry it in the same way. Right. And I feel like that outfit, you know, like Noreen, you just your own character.
Yeah, I am my own person. Hence the show. Exactly. Live life your way. So basically, you're living life. You're dressing the way you want to dress. So that begs me to ask the question: is that you can carry it? Right? Because you have said, I can carry it because you're choosing to live it your way. So if these people who are smaller decided, you know what, I'm going to do it, and they do it, they have to be able to carry it off.
Yeah, but the people that aren't fashion people and don't know what to do, they're just not going to say
awkward.
That. You know, I have another particular person in mind that I know who, she's a very pretty, cute figure, 30-ish woman. And when I see her in clothing, she always looks great, and she often breaks like the fashion rules that I would suggest. I'm like, Why would she choose those shoes with that dress?
Right.
Her necklace is cutting in the wrong way and it's breaking all my rules. And somehow she can carry it off. I wouldn't put those things together and I wouldn't recommend them to my client, but she always looks adorable.
Right. So would you say that it's, yeah, I mean, like, I'm not assuming, I don't want to assume that your clients are awkward, why your little clients are awkward, why they couldn't carry that, or they're not stylish.
They're not, they actually, most of the clients come to me because they're not out of style, but they don't know what's going on. They don't know if this is out of date. They don't know how to put things together.
They're busy.
They're looking for.
They're busy.
No.
Sounds like.
No. They aren't particularly knowledgeable about fashion.
Is it because they're not interested, really?
Yeah, I mean, average women. I mean, there's tons of average women that love to go shopping. And then there's also, I mean, every woman's got to get dressed every day.
Right.
And so these women, they're just, they may flip through a Vogue or something, but they're not on top of fashion and
right.
they're not creative and they're not thinking about it, just as you
I'm creative. I'm not on top of fashion.
Right. So you're not on top of fashion.
Right.
Exactly. So these women are not necessarily creative and they're not on top of fashion. Okay. So they're looking for guidance and help.
Right. I got you. So, rules. Who made the rules?
That's a good question. I do not know if I have an answer for that. I mean, obviously, you wear white pants in the summer because black attracts heat. And so white is a common summer thing. I mean, I don't know what
but we live in New York and most of us wear black. That's why I've got my nice t-shirt on today. All right. But yeah, so like my question is, who made these rules? I mean, back in the day, the rules were really tight.
They were indeed. And I think it depends. I really don't know who made the rules, but I think some things just seem to make sense. White in the summer. And since we sort of defined our summer by our holidays, that became a rule. You didn't used to have suede shoes in the summer.
No.
And now it's like, suede shoes are all over the place.
Right.
So that was a thing.
I wouldn't even think of suede suit. If you really thought about it, suede shoes in the wintertime with the water and the snow, I wouldn't think of those either.
Well, if the weather is fine.
Maybe spring.
Then they're good. But I guess, they're heavier and thicker fabric.
Right.
They weren't doing the bright colors that they have now. I mean, even prior to, I don't know what it is, 10 years ago, all these bright colors that used to be only summer colors, because you do think of summer, bright flowers, that sort of thing. They've now come into fabrications for a blazer, for a sweater, for a coat, for winter items.
Right.
You would never, when I was a designer, I remember the first time I saw the color palette for winter, fall was these bright colors, and it was shocking to me.
Right. I like, I have a thing that I do. If I wear a black dress, I like to have bright stockings. So like if I have a black dress on, I'll have, I've got all kinds of stockings, neon orange, neon green, neon yellow, flowers or whatever. So I have this, I've coined this phrase like winter at the top, summer at the bottom. And it makes me feel good because people have come up to me and say, Noreen, why do you have on those bright stockings with that dress? Or do you know that doesn't go? I'm like, to you, it doesn't go. To me, it goes just fine.
Well, I think that's really important. I mean, you were talking about your stylist friend before, right. And I think it's really important. If you feel comfortable and empowered and confident, I have to tell you, if I went into a client's closet and they had the most heinous dress I have ever seen, and it was their favorite dress, and it made them feel like $1 million, then,
it wasn't really, yes, it was one of my favorite dresses, but at the time I was a realtor. And she was saying, and she did the survey, how do I want to look? What do I want to represent? And all this good stuff. And so she says, that dress has got to go. It does not represent any of the things that you just said, right? Where it was playful and fun.
Right.
I felt flirty in it. And I would like, when I wasn't with a client, I felt like I wanted to skip up the street, that kind of thing. But I tell you what, when she did overhaul my closet, my income did go up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the whole experience of how I was treated. Transformed.
Right. But you were looking for business attire. So maybe it's a dress that you can wear not on business. I don't know. I didn't know.
The
it
dress
was not.
really needed to be where she told me to put it.
Right. Well, I like to pick my battles with my clients. Like I said, I've never had this circumstance so somebody saying, oh my God, this is my favorite dress. I absolutely love it. But the concept is if they feel confident, beautiful, empowered in it, then I'm going to pick my battles and let's get rid of the other things. And I will say to them, I will give them my opinion that, I have to say that this is really like one of my least favorite things in your wardrobe, but it makes you happy. So let's leave that and let's move on and work with the other stuff. I mean, you did hire me to get my opinion and expertise, but if you're going to get rid of all these other things that I recommend, I'll let you keep that dress.
Right. So let's do a little education moment. So what is the standard thing that like a woman should have in her closet? What are some of the standard things? Like, I don't own a blazer. Is that a problem?
No, I'm glad that you asked that. Because most stylists will say, oh, you need to have a black dress. You need to have this, that, and the other thing in your wardrobe. And I say my tagline is style for your lifestyle.
Right.
And I don't believe that there are any must-haves.
Right.
So you mentioned the black blazer. An example that I like to give is a little black dress, which is extremely versatile. And most women do and should, like, I don't want to say should, but it's a good thing to have.
Right.
But if you don't like black, you want to wear bright colors, don't own a black dress. If you like print, wear a print dress.
Right.
If you don't like dresses, wear pants.
Right.
So I will never say that there's a must-have. And the must-have in my closet is very different than the must-have in your closet.
Right. Well, I wear a lot of dresses. Why do I wear dresses? Because it's so much easier for me to get dressed. I've got, my underwear, my stockings, if I'm wearing stockings, depending on the time of the year, wintertime, and my dress, and I'm good to go. Boom, 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 I'm out.
And perfect example.
Right.
And I'm a pants girl, right? So your must-haves and my must-haves are totally different.
Right. Cool. All right. So we'll be right back in a few moments.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
TalkingAlternative.com.
Good.
So hi, we're back. This is Noreen Sumter from Beyond Potential. Live life your way with Diane Pollack from Style Empower. She will certainly empower you. She will give you the freedom to wear what you wish with what you wish. She'll empty your closets. She'll rearrange your closet. She'll sort you. She will give you creative style, even if you don't know what creative style is. So Diane, we're back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what would you like to, we were going to do a little style education. So what would you, I said dresses, I like dresses, you wear pants, so you're not into the dress thing. So what would you share with people if they're looking to be their best, look their best? What are some of the tips that you would provide them?
Okay. So I think my number one tip is tailoring.
Mm-hmm.
Different clothing is made in different sizes with different fabrics. Each designer has their own sort of fit. And, women have all kinds of shapes and lumps and curves and everything going on. So not everything is going to fit everybody or every part of your body.
Right.
So you need to buy for the largest part of your body. Yes, that might mean buying up a size, which is just a stupid number, and then tailoring the rest. And also for proportions too. I mean, certainly as a petite woman, things need to be shortened and that sort of thing. But it's going to make your outfit look so much more expensive and so much more flattering. Even, to nip in the waist a little, to bring up the length on the dress, that sort of thing can really, really make a difference.
Because I saw a petite woman a couple days ago, and she had on some pants. I don't know, they looked like they were from the 80s, but because she was so small, and I guess from the seat, is it you say the seat area, right? Between the legs.
Right. The rise.
The rise was probably really long. So what she did is she hiked it up. So it was like very short shirt, short amount of shirt sitting here. She had quite big breasts. But it just everything just looked pulled up.
Right.
So this is a person that would need tailoring.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people would need tailoring, but her certainly more than.
I'm just thinking of her. So she would probably, if I'm not a tailor, but I'm going to guess that she would probably need tailoring from the rise area, bring it down so that the way it could actually sit on her waist, not pulling it all the way up underneath her breast, sort of just like giving a few inches, because she was.
But that's actually a complicated thing to do. I mean, perhaps she's not even buying petite bottoms.
It didn't look like
because that's a huge amount of tailoring.
Right.
When you have to deconstruct, it's one thing to do hems or nip in waist, or a jacket is boxy, that sort of things, to do seams like that. But when you're talking about the rise of a pant, it's probably something that you don't even want to buy.
Okay, good idea. So while before we got on the show, I was sharing with Diane that I go shopping and I do not like to try on clothes very often. I do know there's one store that I will go and try something, and that's Nordstrom's Rack. I will try stuff in there. And what I learned is that I take as many items as I can into the dressing room, try them on, and choose the ones that work and get rid of the ones that don't work. But normally I don't try on things. And what I do is when I get it home, if it doesn't fit, I just leave it in the closet till I lose a few pounds. And I get it back on. But she had brought up a great point, which is there are different fabrics that have different kind of stretch or move. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So, I mean, when I try on things, I see things that are, it looks great on the hanger, and you try it on, and we talked about women having different shapes and curves. I mean, there's plenty of things when I put it on, it's just not flattering to me. So it's kind of good, because then you don't even want it anymore. You're like, okay, well, I just saved myself that money. So for you, that's a really, really bad thing to purchase items and sit in your closet. It's just a waste of money.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and even we can't all be educated about everything. It's great to know what kind of styles. You should know what kind of styles are flattering to you.
Right.
But every designer, as I said, cuts differently. Every fabrication reacts differently. So, you do need to try it on. You possibly need to tailor things. And I don't recommend, I'm not quite sure why the one store you try things on and nothing else.
That's the only store I ever tried things on.
Right. But then you got to return.
But you know what? You gave me a really good tip just now, which is I can buy it bigger, right? So I'm a 14. I could probably get the 16 and just have it tailored.
You could. But in the same time that you're going to take it to the tailor and then come back to pick it up, why don't you just return the item?
No, what I was saying in terms of if there was a dress that I like, right, and it doesn't fit, right? If I say, for instance, I buy a dress, I want to buy a dress, and it doesn't fit. Try it on. Just try it on, Noreen. If it doesn't fit, get that one size up and then just go get it tailored.
Yes. If it's tight in a certain area, absolutely. But if everybody were to just go buy a size up and tailor, it would be a big expense, because it would be a lot of different areas. You know what I mean? So, I mean, for instance, for me, I have a small waist and I have bigger thighs. So I need to buy my pants to fit my thighs.
Right.
Which means that they're usually gapping in the waist. My tailor is always taking a little tuck in the waist, but it's an easy thing. And then my hems usually.
Right.
But it's like a one spot kind of deal.
Right.
So you don't want to be altering the whole dress. You know,
okay.
if it's pinching in one area, and for instance, petite people, like, you know, the armhole is too low and the length, and then it's you know, you need to take it in here, there, and every other place, then it's probably just a dress that you shouldn't own.
Okay, so the rule, note to self, don't do it. Just try the damn dresses on. Okay, I will try the dresses on. That's why you go to a stylist, so she can educate you about what to do and what not to do. See, my thing would have been, don't try the dress on. It's maybe a little bit too tight when I get it home. Put it in the closet. I'll wait until I lose a few pounds and then get it.
I'm recommending to you maybe buy online at a store that has a good return policy.
It's not the return policy. It's just going back to the damn store with the dress.
But you don't have to.
Okay.
If it no, to send it back in a box. Buy it online, send it back in a box.
I think it would be easier to just try the things on going forward.
You do it in Nordstrom Rack,
Yes,
do it in another place.
I'll do it in other places as well.
You're going to come back to me and be like, Diane, you saved me so much money this year. And there's more room in my closet.
So to ask, is there some question that you want me to ask you? Is there a question that you'd like me to ask you?
That's a good question. There's so many different things I could answer.
Go ahead. What would you like the listeners, because this goes evergreen, it's forever up.
Okay.
What is something that you would like people to know about you and what you can do for them?
I can save you money in your closet by hiring me. I can actually save you money. For instance, you are a perfect example. If I came to your closet and you had all these items that you didn't try on, we would just have this conversation. I had another client, and we found, and she's actually on a little video on my website, that she tended to like the same. She liked brightly colored sweaters, but they were all just like a plain flat knit crew neck, or they were very, very similar. And so I'm showing her in her closet. I said, look, you have 2 orange sweaters of different shades that are very similar, 2 yellow sweaters, or, you know, don't be redundant here. That'll save you money. New ways to wear things that you thought were okay, but really making them fabulous. Maybe it's that accessory. Maybe it's not buying a whole new dress, but buying that fabulous accessory that can up your look. So investing in a stylist can actually help you save money and educate you going forward, as I mentioned, on proportions, what's flattering to you, why different things work with, you know, different accessories, with different necklines, etc. So there's a lot of takeaway. Plus, for those that aren't physically organized, I actually help them, because if you open your closet and you can't see what you have and you don't remember what you have, then that's a waste too. So it's nice to look into your closet and it's all organized, and I help you. I'm very good at finding a place for everything
or
that's
creating a place.
Everything that's worth keeping.
Okay, cool. A question just popped into my head that I wanted to ask you, and it just popped out.
How can they contact me? What am I offering them?
How can they contact you, and what are you offer? What is your offer for tonight?
Okay. My website is styleempower.com. It's the word style, the word power. They got married and they share an E. STYLEMPOWER. My email is Diane at styleempower.com, and I'm happy to offer you a free complimentary ebook and also a complimentary phone consultation. You can email me and we'll set up the consultation.
Awesome. Great. Anything else?
Anything else?
Yeah. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell them? Do you have any workshops coming up?
I do not.
So they should watch your events page on your website.
Absolutely. And I have different press on my press page. Yeah, check out my website.
Do you want to give them the website again?
Styleempower.com. STYLEMPOWER.
So, Diane, I just want to thank you for coming on the show. You were one of the, when I first took this show on, you were one of the first people that I said, oh, when I start interviewing people, I'll have you come to the show. So I just want to say thank you for coming to the show. And thank you for being on and taking the time to answer all my inquisitive and interesting questions.
Thank you. Thank you. You're always such a fun character to talk to.
We've been out a few times. So that's the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Do you work with men?
I do not, but I have a great stylist I can recommend.
She has a referral for the men.
So contact me again, Diane at styleandpower.com.
That's right. We keep saying that. And so I just want to say, guys, I hope this was interesting. And if you want to find out more information about Diane, you can also contact me if you didn't go through the whole, if you can't figure out how to get the number or you didn't get the download, but I'll make sure that it's in our website so that you can reach her. So I just want to thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you, Diane, for being here. And this is Noreen Sumter. Hey, I'm not a fashionista, but I know what I like and I know what I don't like. I always buy what I like, and I will take Diane's tip and try my clothes on going up forward in the future so as not to waste time and money. So this is Noreen Sumter signing off from Beyond Potential. Live life your way, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.